In this video, we'll review the new production scheduling function in Mothernode that is accessed from the Mothernode production job board. Just click Scheduling in the upper right to be taken to this function. This does not replace the existing scheduling functions in the system, like the production order itself, the job card, the calendar-based production schedule, and as I showed you a moment ago, the job board. But what it does do is it gives you a new and enhanced way of scheduling that is more user-centric. So you'll be able to see user schedules, user capacity. You'll be able to see things like days where they're not available, like PTO days, sick days, that type of thing, and evaluate scheduling decisions that way. Now, the first step in the process is actually the setup. And to do that, you would go to Settings in the upper right. You'll see a list of active users, and what you'll want to do is click on Edit Schedule for every applicable production user and make sure that their standard weekly schedule is set in the system. If you have exceptions like vacation time, sick time, and so forth, you'll be able to handle that and address it in the main schedule. So this is simply setting the standard schedule for the user. Just click Edit Schedule. You'll see the available days of the week on the left. You can turn those on and off just by clicking the checkbox, and then adjust the start time and end time for that employee on that day. And then click Save Schedule for any changes, and then simply rinse and repeat, so to speak, for every available applicable production user that you have in the list. So that's the first step. The next step is ensuring that those production users are tied to their respective departments or work centers in the system. So go to your production menu, click on Work Centers. You'll see a list of the work centers that you have set up in Mothernode. And then for each applicable work center, make sure that you have the users tied to those work centers, and that will allow you to make those actual assignments when you're doing the production scheduling. So just click on Edit here on the right. You'll see the standard setup fields for the work center on the left, and then you'll see the list of any applicable users below. Now, the reference to division, if you have multiple offices or divisions set up in Mothernode, then you'll be able to select the applicable division first, which will in turn display the available users below. If you don't use divisions and offices, then you simply won't see this. You'll just see a list of users below. So either way, we have you covered. In this case, I've assigned this user, Bruce, to the work center named Router. So that's set up, and then I'll repeat my process by assigning any applicable users using the same method. I'll make sure that I click Save below in the lower right to save any updates. So that's it as far as the user setup in the process. You can see that there's not a whole lot to it as far as setting their daily and weekly schedules and then tying the users to their respective work centers, and then you can go from there. Now, to illustrate the process, I'll start at the order stage. I have just created a new order, and you can see that it's in the early stages. It's in an open status. It's a simple order, but I do have a line item that I want to send to production. I have this ADA room ID sign with installation, so I'll pick it up from there. And what I'll do, as always, is process the order so I can move it to in progress, as you can see in the upper right. And then on the order entry tab, now I have the option of sending it over to production, which I'll do. I'll click on this. And then if I have not set a due date for the order, it will prompt me for a due date. In this case, I've already previously set a due date. So I can see that this has been sent to ready for production. I'll go to the ready for production function. I see my order here, and as always, I'll go ahead and check everything so I can make the final determination to move it into production. Now, with workflow, which comprises the work centers that are part of the workflow and that will be looked at, that will be reviewed in the scheduling process, I had already assigned a workflow to the prior quote, and then the quote that became an order, and then it simply flows into ready for production and then into production. Or if I haven't done that in the estimating process and in the order process, I can assign or reassign the workflow here, so I have an opportunity to do that. In any event, I'm going to go ahead and accept it into production. It leaves ready for production, goes into my production order list, and so now it is officially in production. I won't cover a review of the other scheduling methods since our focus is on the new production scheduling function, but once again, you would still have the option of working through the scheduling process in the orders in production list, and then also in the job board, and then also within the production schedule. So those options are still at my disposal. What I would like to do is go to the job board and go to my new production scheduling function by clicking scheduling here, and now I can start the process. A couple things to note, and as you already know in Mothernode, when you go to a specific module, whether it's quotes, orders, invoices, you'll see a default listing, and then you can filter further to get the information on the screen that you want to see. So this is the default view for production scheduling. You'll see a list of applicable users and their schedule for the current month, but you can adjust that accordingly. Again, if you use offices or divisions, you can filter based on that. If not, then no problem, you don't have to. And then on the right, you can filter by any applicable individual users. So you can see that that's easy to do. If I see scheduling information in blue here for specific production users, I can expand to get more data about those activities by clicking show more information, and I can see the allotted time for the day, the customer name, the job number, order number, and then I can click this again to collapse. I can see the time frame. I can adjust it with these options. If I only want to see 2 weeks out instead of 4, then I can make that adjustment here, and so forth. So there's a lot that I can do. You can see the reference here. As I mentioned, the blue here shows the activity, the work center activity for this user on this day. And then the percentage here in the green block basically shows how much capacity is being used on that day for that user. So from a capacity standpoint, I can see that, well, the user Bruce is still available for another 93% of the day, 96% here. So he has good capacity on these days. If I needed to schedule him for specific activities on these days, then you can also see days where he's not available, that he has PTO days on the 18th and on July 3rd, so I can see information like that as well. If I need to undo a PTO day, in this case it's no longer applicable, then you can click on the X here and then unlock it, and then it becomes available again. To block off dates, let's say it's Bruce is called in sick for the 11th of June, then to block off the date only for Bruce in this case, I would use this block off dates function. The one above is the universal function for blocking off dates. Or if you click one of these options here for blocking off dates, that would act as a universal blocking off of dates as well. So it's important to note that you can make these adjustments for individual users or for your entire staff. So Bruce is sick, out of office on the 11th, so I'll click block off dates to the right of his name and then confirm that it is indeed for Bruce, and type in the reason there, select the date, click block date, and now he is blocked off as sick for the 11th. But you can see that it did not block off that date for other users. So use this for use this for the individual user, use this as a universal blocking off for your entire staff. One other important thing to note is that, let's say we'll just extend this scenario, and if he's sick for another day, then that becomes a challenge, right? Because we have an activity for him. He has work that is scheduled on Thursday the 12th. But watch what happens when I block off the 12th and he is still sick. I'll block off the 12th, click block date, and it not only blocks off the 12th, but it schedules his activities for the next available day. So the system intelligently evaluates that and moves that activity automatically, so you don't have to reschedule that necessarily. Also on the left, just as a quick note, you can always review the schedule for every user by clicking on the clock icon, and you'll see a review of their weekly schedule. And then you'll also see a summary on the left here showing how much time is scheduled versus capacity for the month for that employee, 40 hours to a week by 4 weeks. And so that's total capacity, and that is what is scheduled. So knowing all this helps with the scheduling process, and that starts with clicking this right here titled Production Orders, and that will open up your open production orders right here, most recent at the top. This is the one we've been working on. And to drill down and to be able to start the scheduling process by user, I'll click on the down arrow. It will show me all related jobs for the order. In this case, I only have one, but other jobs, multiple jobs, would be displayed below if applicable. And then to see all of the work centers that need to be scheduled for that job, I'll click on this drop down, and then I happen to have, it's a simple workflow, so I have the 3 work centers that are part of the workflow, and it's already calculated the total required time in each department. It took the quantity and multiplied by the individual time estimate for each of these work centers. So all of that is already calculated. And then the process becomes very straightforward, very top down. I'll click on each one of these work centers and then schedule accordingly. Once I have this filtered, like for example, in this case, what I want to do is when I click on the router work center, then notice that it will basically give me all of the applicable assigned users to that work center. So for this division and for this work center, it's just the one Bruce, but depending on how you have it set up, it could be multiple. In this case, he's the one. And then anywhere on the calendar where it says schedule, and when I hover over it, it turns green, those are Bruce's available days. I can see where I can't schedule because of sick days, PTO days, that sort of thing. And I can also evaluate scheduling on days where he still has availability. So there's a lot of good visual information here. I've clicked router, so this is the current work center that I'm scheduling, and I want to schedule his activity, in this case for June 16th. So I'll click on the schedule bar. I can review the start date, and I can make adjustments to the start time and all of that, and then click Save Schedule. And then we'll see that on the 16th, I've scheduled him for that activity, the router R for router, and that's using up 9% of his capacity for that day. So he still has a good 91% remaining. Now the icon that you see here is a drag and drop option, so that on the fly, if I needed to move it, I could do that. I could just click, and let's say that I really wanted it scheduled for the 17th. I click and drag and drop. And the best way to do that is clicking drag and drop over the highlighted schedule bar, and that will complete the action, as you can see there. So very easy to move things around as you go. And then the scheduling process continues. I just go top down and then find the next available day. I also want to schedule this, and you can see here that when I went to digital print, then it basically displayed all applicable employees. In this case, it's David that is assigned to digital print. And so I'm going to be scheduling for David for this department activity. And so since he has availability rather on the 17th, I'll schedule that activity for the 17th as well. I'll review everything, click Save Schedule, and now his activities are saved on the production schedule calendar. I can see what was previously scheduled. Now I can see that his usage for that day is at 15%, so there's still capacity available. And then I always have the drag and drop moving option here on the left. And then finally, to complete the example, I'll go ahead and click on Apply Graphics, and I can see that David is applicable, or Jack Jackson. In this case, I want to schedule him for a similar time frame. So in this case, I want to schedule him for the 18th. Click Schedule, review the timing, the date and time, click Save, and now that work center is scheduled for Jack on the 18th, and I can see that that uses 13% of his capacity for the day. So in this example, these are all the work centers in my job, but now I can see in summary that now I have an assignment, I have a user assignment, and then a summary of the dates and times in which that particular activity will occur for each one of those. And then from there, it's just a matter of going ahead and collapsing this and collapsing it for the order. Then I see the other orders, and then I repeat the process for other orders that I need to schedule. And so over time, you're going to see more and more data that builds above. And with everything that I've shown you as far as the filtering options and how you can view this and how to evaluate capacity and availability, you just continue to repeat the process and build upon the example that we've gone over in this video. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.